Welcome to Headstones and Microphones, where we use AI to step into the past through a researched, first-person simulation of history's most interesting people. I'm your host, Calvin. While we've added some creative storytelling, our goal is to inspire your own study of these fascinating lives. Now, let's meet our guest. Joining us today is a man who was the heartbeat of the Boston Garden, a Celtics legend and one of the smoothest players to ever lace them up. For those who may somehow not know who are you?
Hey Calvin, thanks for having me. I'm Reggie Lewis, former captain of the Boston Celtics. I was just a kid from Baltimore who loved the game and ended up wearing that famous green jersey.
We're so glad to have you, Reggie. Let's take it back to the beginning. When and where were you born?
I was born on November 21st, 1965, right in the heart of Baltimore, Maryland.
And what was your given name at birth?
My full name is Reginald C. Lewis. Most people just knew me as Reggie, though.
Is there a story behind your birth name?
Nothing too fancy. It was just a strong, classic name my parents liked. I always felt it had a bit of a serious ring to it, which was funny because I spent most of my time smiling.
Baltimore is a legendary basketball city. What was your hometown like growing up?
Baltimore was tough, but it was home. It was a place where you had to grow up fast. The streets could be loud and busy, but the basketball courts were where life really happened. You'd see row houses everywhere and kids playing outside until the streetlights came on. It made me resilient.
What was your family life like?
I was very close to my family. I had my older brother Irving, who I looked up to so much. He was smaller than me, but he had a huge heart. We were always together, especially when it came to sports. We kept each other grounded and out of trouble.
What kind of kid were you?
I was pretty quiet actually, a bit of a gym rat. I wasn't the loudest guy in the room. I preferred to let my play do the talking. I was happy, always had a smile on my face, but I was incredibly focused when I had a ball in my hands.
What were your biggest fears growing up?
In a city like Baltimore back then, your biggest fear was often just not making it out. You saw people take the wrong path, and I was terrified of falling into those same traps. I feared failing the people who believed in me, like my coaches and my brother.
What did you dream of becoming as a child?
Like every kid on the Baltimore playground, I dreamed of the NBA. But more than just being famous, I dreamed of being like the greats I saw on TV, guys who played with grace. I just wanted to be a professional athlete and take care of my family.
What were some of your favorite activities in school?
Besides basketball, I actually enjoyed the social side of school. I went to Dunbar High, which was a basketball powerhouse. Being part of that team was my main activity. We were like celebrities in that building. But I liked the atmosphere of the city and being around my friends Muggsy Bogues and Reggie Williams.
What was your first job?
My first real job was probably just working on my game, but I did odd jobs around the neighborhood to help out. Honestly, my life was school and the court. By the time I got to Northeastern University, my job was leading that team to the NCAA tournament.
Was there a moment where you realized you were different from everyone else?
It wasn't one specific moment, but more of a feeling that grew. When I was at Dunbar, I was actually a bench player at first because the team was so stacked. But I realized that even when I wasn't the star, I could impact the game in so many ways. Blocking shots, stealing the ball, just being everywhere. I realized my versatility was my superpower.
What's a decision that changed everything for you but felt small at the time?
Choosing Northeastern University, a lot of guys wanted the big name schools, but going to Boston for college changed the entire trajectory of my life. It's where I broke scoring records and where the Celtics scouts started seeing me every night. If I hadn't gone to Boston, then I might never have become a Celtic.
What was your biggest break?
Definitely the 1987 NBA draft. When the Celtics picked me 22nd overall, it was a dream come true. To go from Baltimore to playing alongside Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, that was the break of a lifetime.
What were your biggest struggles before success?
Being overlooked. Even at Dunbar, I had to fight for minutes. Then at Northeastern, people questioned if I could play at the pro level because we weren't a powerhouse conference. I always felt like I had to prove I belonged.
Did you ever consider quitting?
Never, not once. I had too many people counting on me, and I loved the game too much. Even when I sat on the bench my rookie year in the NBA, I just used it as fuel to work harder.
Were there any specific daily habits or routines that you feel are essential to your success?
I was big on extra gym time. I'd stay late after practice just to work on that mid-range jumper. I also tried to stay calm and keep a positive mindset. Being even-keeled helped me handle the pressure of the Boston fans.
What job would you have had if fame never happened?
I probably would have been a coach or worked with kids in the community. I always loved giving back. If not sports, maybe something in business. I like the idea of building something for my family.
What was your life like before fame?
It was simple. It was about the next game, the next meal, and hanging out with Irving. We didn't have much, but we had the court and we had each other.
How did relationships change after success?
You definitely find out who your real friends are, but for the most part, I stayed close to the guys I grew up with. My relationship with my wife, Donna, was my rock. Success just meant I could provide more for the people I loved.
Did fame bring happiness?
Happiness came from the game and my family. Fame was just a side effect. It was nice being recognized, but the real joy was hearing the roar of the crowd at the Garden after a big win.
What was the downside of becoming famous?
The loss of privacy. People start to have opinions on everything you do. There's also a lot of pressure to be perfect all the time, especially when you're the captain of a team with as much history as the Celtics.
What misconceptions did people have about you?
Because I was quiet, some people thought I wasn't aggressive enough on the court, but you don't score 20 points a night in the NBA without having a killer instinct. I just didn't feel the need to shout about it.
What was your darkest moment?
Losing teammates and friends too soon. When Len Bias passed away right after being drafted by the Celtics, it cast a long shadow over the team and the city. It was a heavy time for all of us.
What past regrets did you carry that you spoke about?
I try not to live with regrets. I always wished we could have gotten one more championship for the city of Boston during my time. We were so close.
What's something people misunderstood about your life?
People sometimes thought my success came easily because I looked so smooth on the court. They didn't see the years of grinding in Baltimore or the thousands of shots I took alone in the gym.
Tell me about a time when everything went wrong and how did you handle it?
My rookie year was tough. I went from being the man in college to barely playing. I handled it by staying patient. I watched Larry Bird every day, how he practiced, how he prepared. I turned a bad situation into a masterclass.
Did fame and fortune change your life?
It changed my circumstances for sure. I could buy a nice home in Dedham and make sure my kids were set. But it didn't change who I was. I was still that same kid who liked to smile and play ball.
Who had the biggest influence on your life?
My brother Irving and my coach at Northeastern, Jim Calhoun. They taught me about toughness and what it meant to be a leader.
What was life like in your final years?
I was at the top of my game. I was the captain of the Celtics, an all-star, and we were making deep playoff runs. Off the court, I was focused on my family and my charity work, like my annual Thanksgiving turkey giveaways in Boston.
What were you working on in your career before you passed away?
I was working on leading the Celtics back to a championship. After Larry Bird retired, the torch was passed to me. I was also working on being the best father I could be to my 2 children.
When and where and how did you pass away, and how old were you?
I passed away on July 27, 1993, at a basketball facility in Waltham, Massachusetts. I was only 27 years old. It was a sudden cardiac event while I was doing what I love most, playing basketball.
What's a random fact about you most people have never heard?
I'm actually second cousins with PJ Dozier, who also played in the NBA. He even wore number 35 to honor me.
What's the craziest rumor ever told about you?
After I collapsed, there were all sorts of rumors about why it happened. Some people tried to say it was drugs because of the Baltimore connection, but that wasn't me at all. I was a clean living guy. It was just a heart condition that no one saw coming.
What was your most unique habit?
I had this way of floating on my jump shot. It looked like I was hanging in the air forever. Players used to say they'd jump, come down, and I'd still be up there shooting.
What was your favorite food?
I loved a good home-cooked meal. Being from Baltimore, you can't beat some good seafood, but honestly, I wasn't too picky. Just give me something hearty after a game.
Did you have a favorite restaurant?
There were some great spots in Boston and Dedham, but I mostly enjoyed eating at home with Donna and the kids.
What was your favorite book?
I liked books about leadership and sports history, anything that could give me an edge or help me understand the greats who came before me.
Did you have any known rivalries?
On the court, everyone was a rival, but playing against the Charlotte Hornets was always intense, especially because my old Dunbar teammate Muggsy Bogues was there. We'd talk a little trash, but it was all love.
Tell us a story nobody talks about.
People talk about the scoring, but they forget I once blocked 4 of Michael Jordan's shots in a single game. He's the greatest, but that night I was seeing everything perfectly.
What's your funniest behind-the-scenes moment?
Just the locker room banter with Mikhail and Bird. Those guys were hilarious. Mikhail would never stop talking, and Bird would just drop these one-liners that would have us all rolling.
Did you ever prank someone?
I was more of the one laughing at the pranks, but we'd do little things like hiding a teammate's shoes or messing with their locker, just keeping the energy light.
What was the most outlandish purchase you made?
I wasn't a very outlandish guy. I bought a nice car and a beautiful home for my family, but I kept it pretty practical. I wanted that money to last for my kids.
What advice would you give people chasing success?
Stay humble and stay hungry. Don't let the noise get to you and never stop working on your craft. And most importantly, keep smiling. Life is too short not to enjoy the ride.
Reggie, do you have any closing remarks about the interview or the stories you shared that you would like to share with the listeners before we sign off?
Just that I'm so grateful for the time I had. To the fans in Boston and Baltimore, thank you for the love. I hope my story shows that it doesn't matter where you start, it's about how much heart you put into your journey. Thanks for letting me tell my story again, Calvin. It's been a blast.
It's been an absolute honour, Reggie. From the Dunbar Poets to the Boston Garden, your legacy as a captain and a teammate is unforgettable. And that wraps up another conversation from Beyond the Grave. Thanks for joining us on the Headstones and Microphones podcast. Remember, legends may die, but their stories never do. Please help spread the word by sharing and following the pod.